Would you ever consider playing in South Africa?
Well, I've been offered to play South Africa. I was supposed to play in South Africa last Christmas, but I had to cancel that because I had to finish this album. And in fact, I finished this album Christmas Eve. So unfortunately, I couldn't play. But I'm going to play in South Africa next year.
How do you feel about that?
I feel the time is not right. I was surprised, actually, some years ago. I was playing at the Nice Jazz Festival, and a South African reporter and the TV crew found me in a hotel lobby, and they came and they interviewed me. And I didn't know this, but I was perhaps one of the biggest artists in South Africa, and I didn't even know everybody has my records. And in fact, this festival I was supposed to play last Christmas was 10,000 people, and I was the headline act, and I was the only international act. The rest was South African. And I didn't know my records were very big there, but I wouldn't have played there years ago, but I do feel that, you know, times have changed, and my idol of all time is Nelson Mandela, and I would like to meet him. He's the person I would most like to meet, and Muhammad Ali as well.
But why Muhammad Ali?
Well, Muhammad Ali, you know, he brought black pride in just when, you know, the black people needed it. Because, you know, black people have found that they weren't loved by white society, and you know, because of the history in schools, you know, there was a definite black history which the schools have managed to keep down, you know. All they say was blacks only existed as slaves. They didn't say that blacks, you know, were kings and queens of empires thousands upon thousands upon thousands of years ago. And so therefore they, you know, extinguished that whole history, and, you know, Muhammad Ali came on the scene and he said, no, that's wrong, you know, be proud of what you are. You know, you are beautiful people, and he really cared for his people, and he was basically our manhood. And, you know, it's almost like when he was boxing, we all felt we were the greatest, you know, and, you know, he's a living legend. And when you think that Malcolm X is dead, John Lennon is dead, JF Kennedy is dead, a lot of our 60s icons are dead, you know, even Sam Cooke, the vocalist, you know, Muhammad Ali is still alive, and he's still well, and he's definitely a living legend, and, you know, as well as Nelson Mandela, without a question of a doubt. And, you know, I mean, I would go to South Africa. I would love to meet Nelson Mandela, you know.
Do you think there's a chance you can?
I beg your
Do
pardon?
you think there's a chance you can meet him?
Well, apparently one of the big TV reporters there is trying to arrange it. And, you know, Nelson's basically given his blessing to the whole thing. And, you know, it really would be an honor to play there, and not only to play, but to meet him. And I've never played in the motherland before, so it would be a dream come true.
What would you ask him? I mean, what would you ever ask him if you meet Nelson Mandela?
I would ask him what kept him going through all those dark years in jail. What kept him going? I mean, you know, he's an incredible man, you know. A lot of men in this position would have just broken down, but have taken the easy way out, suicide, you know. But he had faith. He has a lot of inbuilt strength, more inbuilt strength than we'll ever know. And I would ask him basically what kept him going. Because, you know, I remember when I started school in the 60s, I saw a big picture of this man. And over the years, I kept seeing this picture. And then as I got older, I grew to realize that it was Nelson Mandela. And I'm thinking, why is he there? And then as I got older, the whole horror of the thing came to me, that he was a political prisoner. And, you know, there was this song, Free Nelson Mandela. And I used to sing it, but I sang it without actually thinking what it was about. And then I realized what it was about. And since then, it's just left an imprint on my mind. And I remembered being at home a few years ago, and when he was released, it was possibly one of the most emotional times of my life. You know, to actually see him walking out with his ex-wife was something, I think, when the year 2000 comes by and you review the century, I think that would be one of the major talking points.
And playing there.
Absolutely.
Don't you think it's strange to play in a country when you go there, where there's like this small white minority still playing Nazi in such a beautiful country?
Oh no, they're everywhere. They're everywhere, but it's only minority. It's not the majority. So you don't pay them no mind.
No, should we just forget about him? Or?
Oh well, you don't forget about them. You know they're still there, but it's the minority. It's always been a minority. Even when you look at the far right in Europe, in France and Germany, and even in England and other parts of Europe, it's the far right. It's the minority, and you don't let them bother you. I mean, it's gotten so extreme. It's not just blacks they're attacking; it's foreigners. They don't want any other nationalities in their country. So it's not just a black thing. It's basically foreign.
When will you play here again?
I hope to come back to Amsterdam in November sometime to do a European tour. I was hoping to do the North Sea Jazz Festival, but apparently they told me I couldn't do it because I played with Jazz last year, which, to be quite frank with you, I think is ridiculous. Jazz it's not Ronny Jordan.